Welcome back, guys. It is the JE Live post-game show. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen. This is my channel, and happy Halloween to you guys. Most of you, I would assume, are joining because you are a Rams fan. If you are a Texans fan, well, good luck. Buckle up. I mean, you're more than welcome, but this is going to be mainly Rams-focused. The Rams pulled out a 38-22 win. A win that I thought, obviously, could have been a lot more. I thought they really dominated this game, in all phases, except for, I think, special teams, I would say. Really have to get better in special teams unit. But I came away, first three quarters, I was feeling great about this team, and obviously I am moving forward. But I'm a little disappointed in the way they kind of they took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. Not necessarily that they took out their starters, but I would like to see more, continue doing what you're doing, calling, a normal offense, letting Buddy Howell run, getting some, opportunities for Jacob Harris, little things like that. But all in all, this was a fun win. It was fun to see Stafford throwing it around. It was fun to see Darrell Henderson. I mean, he didn't even get to 100 yards because they only had him carry the ball 14 times, but he was so good in this game. And it wasn't a shock. I mean, I told you guys, in the preview that, this is somebody that is going to be, running roughshod of this defense. I mean, this is the 30th ranked defense in DVOA. So I wasn't surprised by that. I was a little surprised, though, that he didn't get to 100 yards and that they only gave him 14 they only gave him 14 carries. I was a little surprised by that. But this game, I think the Rams really needed to, kick this thing off and just roll, right? You had that game where you're like, they could blow out the Lions, but something about it felt a little weird. This is the one where they really did blow out the Texans, garbage time or not. I mean, they scored 38 points with their starters in. They held them to a shutout. And then when they took the starters out, they scored 22 unanswered. But yeah, I think here's the thing. There's a fine line between people being upset about the ending and, understanding and upset, than the people that are not understanding and are upset, the people that are upset the way they ended it. I'm a believer in playing in all, 60 minutes of football. Like Sean McVay has said numerous times, it's about playing all three phases, all four quarters, 60 minutes of football. I didn't like that they just let up. And again, it has nothing to do with the starters. But if you're going to argue that, hey, they took the starters out to get them healthy or keep them healthy or whatever, fine. But then why is Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods on the hands team in what you're calling an unnecessary onside kick? Like, that's what I don't understand, okay? So it has to be consistent there, in my opinion. I was a little annoyed by that. And plus, I thought the special teams unit, the special teams unit has to, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Already losing my voice, and we've only been live for 6 minutes. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. The special teams unit's an issue. This is a great team. This is a team I still think is going to win the Super Bowl. But the special teams issue is a problem and could put them on upset alert early on in the playoffs. I'm just going to say that right now. If they get down to the wire and special teams has to bail them out, that's not where you want to be. So if the Rams are in a, down in the wire situation, going toe-to-toe with a team, and, I'm just not really confident in the special teams unit. Joe DeCamillis or John Bonamego last year, this special teams unit has not been the same since they let Bones go, and, I mean, it's obvious. So that's my one thing. I did like today, first off, let's just kind of go through the game a little bit. I liked getting the guys involved and spreading the ball out. You had 115 yards from Cooper Kupp. You had 88 yards from Van Jefferson, 90 yards of, rushing offense from Henderson. You had a 300-plus game from Matthew Stafford once again. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I was definitely impressed by that. You get an interception from, the rookie Ernest Jones in his first ever game as a starter. Love seeing that. So, there's a lot of good things there. He got a half sack as well, led the team in tackles with 9, pass breakup. He really had himself a day. Greg Gaines, I think this is his first start. He slides right in there. Like I was telling you guys in the preview, this guy's a hell of a football player. He was always around Davis Mills in this one, only ended up with a half sack, but could have been more. Thought, he had a really nice game. Aaron Donald, 1.5 sacks. You had Leonard Floyd, 2 sacks. Obinai Okoronkwo with a half sack. And that came out to be a 5-sack game for the Rams, in which now they have 25. They're leading the league in sacks for team defenses. So so far, I think obviously you'll look at the box score in this game and you'll see they gave up a lot of yards. I mean, Texans came away with 323, but at one point or another, with the Texans at 18 first downs, this was the Rams-Washington game of last year when they had, 8 sacks and, Washington couldn't do anything against them. This was pretty much that game in a sense, because when you look at it, they really dominated this game from beginning to almost end. I mean, obviously they had 22 unanswered in the final, minutes, seconds, whatever you want to call it, of the game. But they just dominated this game, and it could have been a lot worse for the Texans. You have the Darrell Henderson touchdown, 7-0, and then they sell for the field goal. You had a turnover on downs in the red zone. This game could have been brutal for them. But, it ended up being 38-22, and I think the Texans will come away with this feeling, they got some confidence going into next week, finishing out this game strong, whereas I don't feel like the Rams finish this game strong. They'll take the win on the road. But now, they're on to Sunday Night Football against the Titans. It's going to be something. So, I definitely, I got to say, loved that Skoranek got involved. Ben Skoranek, the rookie 7th-round pick out of Notre Dame. Definitely enjoyed seeing that. I think he can help them. And, I mean, it kind of goes along the lines of what I've been told is that they like him more than Tutu Atwell at the moment. Had 10 yards per reception, had 3 on the day. Robert Woods had a really bad drop. He had 3 catches for 35 yards. And he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So you had 2 guys going for 2 touchdowns. You had Robert Woods and you had Darrell Henderson. Defense was nice. Had the interception from Ernest Jones. And on top of it, you almost had the interception. Really should have been an interception. The call was kind of bogus. It should have been an interception for Dante Dion, who actually ended up having 2 out of bounds today. So, my thoughts on this game. The Rams are now 7-1. They're 4-0 on the road. That's definitely a good thing. They they go back home to play on Sunday Night Football against the Titans. They're going to be wearing those, modern throwbacks. It's going to be a huge game for Tennessee. They're actually right now in position to potentially win this football game in overtime against the Colts. It's been a banger of a game. They've held Derrick Henry to 27 carries, 68 yards. So the Rams will hopefully be able to do something like that. Some big games out of A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor. I thought Carson Wentz looked pretty good today. I mean, he had the 2 interceptions, but he threw 3 touchdowns. So that's a close game, and really, if the Titans can't hold on, now that it's 4th and 5 in OT, if they can't win this game, then all of a sudden the Colts are now 4-4, Titans are 5-3. It makes that game against the Rams imperative because they'd be at 5-3. They lose that game, the Colts win again. Now you're tied with this this tiebreaker. So very important there. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw out there. So the Rams, we'll have that preview this upcoming week. We'll get into all that. Pretty excited for that game, by the way. Not going to lie. I like what the Titans are doing. I like what the Rams are doing. The Rams had a little bit of a rough go with the Colts. So, the Titans have, mobile quarterback and Ryan Tannehill. Could be a fun game. It's going to be Sunday Night Football. So I love their... Obviously, I love their presentation. Big fan of Sunday Night Football, so I can't wait for that. So kind of coming back here, yes, please drop a like if you enjoy this video. Really helps me out. Thank you so much, Ray, for becoming a bronze member of the channel. Really do appreciate that. That's now 21 members on the channel. Matthew, what's up, Jake? Thank you so much for donating, Matthew. What's up, Jake? I totally agree with putting those guys out there at unnecessary risk. I know we haven't seen enough, but I really don't feel Tutu has the heart or physicality at the level. What I'll say is this. I know there's a lot of people that are already done with Tutu and all of that. What I would say is this. Tutu Atwell suffered a bummer of an injury. It's probably a separated shoulder. I don't want to, predict or anything like that. It looked bad. But I'm not done with Tutu Atwell. He was a second-round pick for a reason. Look, I'm not high on the pick. I do think it's okay. You know, if it ends up working out, it was still not the greatest selection they could have made, especially considering the fact they have a finite amount of picks, even more so with all the, you know, the trades they do, you know, with the first rounders. So I didn't love it, but, you know, I'm not done with Tutu. What I don't like, and I can't stress this enough, guys, when you have this opportunity, okay, you have the end, you know, the end of game. It's you're winning big. You can put in your backups. Play your backups. I'm not talking about throwing Jacob Harris out there to make him look pretty, sitting there at number 87 and just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, actually use these guys. Run an offense. That's the thing that ticks me off more than anything. It's not so much that they shouldn't have taken out their starters as it is. I have no issue with them taking out their starters. I have an issue with them taking out their starters and then running this vanilla offense. I mean, I can't stand that. That's what I meant, because I had to explain my tweet because everyone got so offended and upset. I basically just said, don't take your foot off the gas in a sense. Like, do you ever see that? Like for instance, in college, perfect example. In college, what we'll see is that you go up big, like 50-7 or whatever. Then you take out, you know, the starting quarterback. And then you put in the backup quarterback. The backup quarterback is still throwing down the field. The backup quarterback is still playing as if he's now the guy, okay? I don't like the idea of taking the foot off the gas pedal, one. And two, I don't like it because this is a perfect opportunity to get all of these young guys. You drafted all these skill position players in this draft. You can get all these young guys, this you know, golden opportunity of live game reps, and you kind of just waste it, you know? It's more so, let's give it to Buddy Howell. Let's run the most vanilla set I've ever seen, and let's not try to get a first down. Let's not try to extend the drive. Let's punt. And oh, by the way, let's put the defense in a situation where the 3 drives, they gave up 22 points. They started at midfield. I don't like it. So that's what I'll say about that. But I'm not, you know, you guys know me. I'm not Mr. Negative. I just like to keep it real, and I didn't like that. I'm sure Sean McVay will probably say something along the lines of him not liking it either. I'm not worried about Wolford. They barely gave him any opportunity. Plus, he's starting behind, you know, Alaric Jackson and guys that typically don't get reps. So it's not really fair to criticize Wolford when he's, you know, he has the backup offensive line. He has the backup receivers, the backup tight end, the backup running back. I mean, it's not fair. Plus, he's going up against the starters of the Texans. So you're running against the first team of the Texans defense, but on top of that, you have the backups in there. So, I mean, that's what I'll say about that. I'm not worried about Wolford. I did like seeing Skowronek. I see, you know, people are talking about Skowronek. Been sleeping on becoming a member. Got to support my boy Jake. Go Rams. Thank you so much, Ray. I really do appreciate that. Really does help. Yeah, I think the rest of the league sees this as vulnerable to the onside kick. Yeah, you could say that again. Problem is our backup can't get a drive going, takes a sack right away. Yeah, but think about this, though. The backup comes in, and the only guy on the offensive line that was starting this game was Noteboom. So he only had his blind side protected. And, I mean, come on now. You have Ross Blacklock. You know, you have Charles Menahue. I mean, these guys are solid players, you know, and they can make an impact when going up against a normal offensive line. So what's going to happen when they have this reserved offensive line? It's not going to be good. I can tell you right now, people that are worried about John Wolford or people that think that John Wolford sucks or is bad, go and, you know, watch him last year. When he was going with the starting offensive line when he got into a rhythm, because he looked very good. And I don't think it'd be any different if he was in the offense, you know, this year. If he was a starting quarterback, say Stafford, you know, took a day off or whatever, and Wolford came in and started with the starters, you know, all there with Kupp and Woods and all that, he would still have a good game. Like, that's what I hate about the whole Wolford dynamic, is that he's had an opportunity to play, but, like, he's had the worst opportunities in the fact it's been with all these backups against the starting defenses that have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I just don't think it's a fair evaluation at all. I mean, I don't think the backups suck. I just, you know, I just, I don't know what you expect an offense to do when they're calling these vanilla offensive plays. They're not trying to. I mean, they were not trying to get a first down. They were not. They called the most basic plays. They just wanted to punt it away. I hate that. I hate that so much. Finish the game with a sense of urgency, as Sean McVay would say. I was a little annoyed by that. Titans, by the way, win in overtime, 34-31. Bummer for the Colts. I think they're a pretty solid football team, dealt with some injuries. They battled in this game. Titans, big win on the road. They're 6-2, playing the 7-1 Rams. So that'll be a huge game on Sunday Night Football. The Patriots and Chargers are knotted up at 7 going into the second quarter. We have Damian Harris, who found pay dirt. And on top of that, we have Austin Eckler, who also ran in for a touchdown. Both sides, Mac Jones and Justin Herbert, look good so far. Have both taken a sack each. Seattle is up 7-0 on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Touchdown from Geno Smith rushing, and the Jaguars right now have the ball. It is the end of the first quarter, and they just got the ball. So there's that. And then Tampa's up 7-0 on New Orleans. Touchdown from Brady to Godwin. And it looks like they just threw that touchdown, so the Saints will they'll try to keep that game manageable. But that's it so far. Washington and Denver, they're in Denver right now. Bridgewater connected with Cortland Sutton for a 31-yard catch. But aside from that, there's no score in that game. It's now 4th and 29. So the Broncos are going to punt that away, but. Yeah, and I want Bones back too. I hear you there. Totally hear you there. Yeah, so that's it as far as the games going on right now. Not too much action, so far. The earlier games, it looks like Carolina held on to beat Atlanta 19-13. They needed that. They go back to 500. Buffalo beat Miami. That a little too close for comfort early on, but they ended up somewhat pulling away in that one, 26-11. And then San Francisco, they beat Chicago 33-22. Pittsburgh held on the road against Cleveland, hard fought 15-10, defensive battle win. Philadelphia, they scored the most points of the day, 44-6 against Detroit. New York held on against the Bengals to upset the number 1 AFC team, 34-31, and then tonight we'll have the Cowboys and Vikings, and then Monday Night Football is Giants versus Kansas City, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, Jose, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, the defense, those 3 touchdowns, they started pretty much around midfield. A short field, it's a lot easier to get some momentum behind an offense going up against a reserve defense and starting at midfield, I wouldn't be so sure. I think the Patriots are actually, they're starting to come into their own. But looking at the standings as of right now, obviously the Rams are still the 5th seed. They're 7-1, but, Arizona, they lost, but they have the tiebreaker over them. So right now, Green Bay is in first place in the NFC at 7-1. Arizona at 7-1. 3rd seed is Tampa at 6-1. Dallas has to play tonight, 5-1, coming off a bye. Rams at 7-1 are the 5th seed, and then the 6th seed are the Saints that are playing right now, losing to Tampa 7-0. They're 4-2. And then the Vikings have an opportunity tonight as the 3-4 team. They're at the 7th seed. They have an opportunity if they can take down Dallas. I don't know if Dak's going to play. It does sound like it might be Cooper Rush. On the flip side of that, the AFC, the Titans are now the number 1 AFC team at 6-2. Raiders are 5-2. Baltimore's 5-2. Both of those teams are on a bye. Buffalo's 5-2 following their win. Los Angeles Chargers are 4-2, the 5th seed, and they're losing right now. Oh no, it's tied right now. Oh no, they just took the lead on the New England Patriots. Cincinnati is 5-3, though, the 6th seed. And Pittsburgh's win today put the Browns at 4-4, and now Pittsburgh is in sole possession of the 7th seed. So congrats to them. That defense is still so good. Jake, what do you think about Skoranek? Bad spelling, I know. I'm liking what I see. I like Skoranek. I've said that. I think, he's somebody that you can now count on. 3 catches, 30 yards. You could tell he's going to have a role moving forward. And I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think really what it came down to is this. Everyone that was, in the comments section this week and saying that they need a deep threat because Deshaun Jackson's gone or will be gone. They hit Van Jefferson deep down the field, on a streak pattern. And, furthermore, they have Skoranek playing the way he is. So, I just don't think that they're in that much trouble as some people were making him out to be. Could they still go out and get a receiver? Maybe, but I don't know. I think if Skoranek is getting snaps now, it rules that off the table. And I'm okay with that. Very much okay with that. I like the way the offense looks. Obviously, tighten things up a little bit more in the red zone, run the ball a little bit more. On the, the field goal drive, they didn't even run it once with Hendo in the red zone when he's averaging over 10 yards per carry. That was a little surprising to me. Things like that kind of annoy me, but all in all, the Rams offense, it looks good. Scoring 38 points the way they did today, regardless of who you go up against. If you do that on the road, it's impressive, right? And so I feel good about the Rams offense. Their defense, I feel good about. They gave up 22, but, like we talked about, it was the reserves, all of that. The Rams weren't playing necessarily to, dominate anymore. They were really just playing for, let's just play some conservative football. Rams have back-to-back primetime games and then have a bye. I don't know if you guys knew that, but so back-to-back primetime games. They have a Sunday night game against the Titans. That's at SoFi. And then they go to San Francisco on Monday Night Football, which is November 15th. So at SoFi, November 7th against the Titans. In San Francisco, November 15th. Bye. And then in Green Bay on the 28th. Then Jacksonville back at SoFi December 5th. Then at Arizona on ESPN, Monday Night Football, December 13th. Seattle, December 19th. That's at SoFi. Then in Minnesota and in Baltimore back-to-back on I think I said September 19th. I meant December. December 26th. And then the Ravens are at January 2nd. And then January 9th, since the year runs a little bit longer because of the 17-game schedule, they finish the season at SoFi against the 49ers. And yeah, that's how that looks. Skoranek is a receiver. I know there's people that say he's a little bulky and kind of could be a tight end, but he's a receiver to me. Always has been. But I understand why people say what they say in that regard. Like, I do get that. To a degree. I think we need to use our tight end more. The only tight end I see us using is Tyler Higbee. I still think they could use him more. They don't have to in this game, but, they could moving forward. So all in all, fan approval meter. Let's do it. Ready? From 1 to 10 through week 8 of the season, Rams are 7-1. What is your approval? Type that in the comments below. I'm curious to see where you guys are. 1 being not confident at all and annoyed, and 10 being very confident and happy. So that scale, 1 to 10. Drop a number in the comment section. I'll be looking at them. I got 7 from Gilbert Ruiz on Facebook. 8.5, 8.5, 9. Special teams is whack. A 7 from Bill. 7, 7, 7, 7, 8.5, 8, 7.5, 8, 8. Seven. A 6. Damn. It's the lowest I've seen. I'd probably put it at an 8. Obviously they're 7-1, but I feel like they can shore up on offense. I do think that they can, become a more elite red zone offense. I like their defense. Their special teams has to get way better. You have the Rams-Bills Super Bowl. Okay. I thought they ran pretty well. I think the issue is that they just kind of abandoned the run at times, you know? Special teams is a big issue. I mean, it's not cutting it. 8 says Daniel Ortiz on Facebook. Yeah, I don't think the special teams unit's cutting it at all. So I hear you. Definitely hear you there. Yeah, Woods had a very important, crucial drop that could have just blown up the game. Then they ended up blowing it up anyway, but at that moment, especially on, like, I think it was a 3rd down there, you got to catch that. They still have their drops, man. And by the way, I love Stafford. He's not perfect. There's not a perfect quarterback in this league right now, you know? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Stafford is having a hell of a season, but he's not perfect, right? He still will throw he'll throw a ball that's way too high for Kupp at times. Like, there are times where he'll just throw it really high, right? It happens. I mean, it's going to happen. But he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. And I have no doubt about it. I think today was a really good day out of Ernest Jones, though. I think the Rams were really happy to see that. I was happy to see it, you know? Oh, yeah, Matthew Stafford's top 5 right now, I would say. Yeah, I don't like Kupp returning punt return. I don't like Kupp receiving punt returns either. Jake, tell me, are you nervous with Wolford as the backup quarterback? He has done nothing since being crushed in Seattle. No, not at all. He's come in just the worst situations. I mean, like I said, earlier, if you missed it, he's dealing with backups going up against a first-team defense that is trying desperately to find any sort of thing to hang and feel good about. And so you have to keep that in mind. While Wolford's chilling there with some backups, the defense that's going up against them may rush the house, or, they may, go aggressive, because it's kind of a, in a blowout like that, it's a, no matter what, you can always go up from here. And that's the standpoint I would look at it at. That's funny. The mop thing. Jake, what position do you think the Rams will trade for this deadline? I don't know if they trade for anybody. I don't know if they need anybody in particular. I feel like they have a really, really stout roster. I don't see it. And furthermore, I don't think it's a huge deal to go out and get like a tight end, because I know some people were curious about Evan Ingram. I don't see the point. They don't utilize tight ends enough. Defense, I mean, I don't think they really have to add anybody. Maybe a corner, but they get Darius Williams back likely this weekend, so I don't know. Maybe a depth piece on the offensive line. I mean, if I were to get anybody right now, I would go big or go home. I'd try to get Byron Jones or Xavier Howard from Miami. They just lost again. Miami is now, I believe, 1-7. So I'd be like, hey, Miami, you guys don't have a shot. We do. So trade with us. And, yeah, that's what I would do right now. Jameis Winston threw a touchdown to Traquan Smith. It is now 7-7 in New Orleans against Tampa. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Miami's 1-7. Byron Jones played today. I believe Xavier Howard did as well. Yeah, Howard did as well. I don't see them going anywhere. This is a lost season. They hurt Tua Tagovailoa got hurt early on in the year. They just haven't really been able to find any sort of consistency. They can't run the ball, and their defense is just on the field too long. Defense is still good. I mean, they only gave up 26 to the Bills, despite the fact that, this team is averaging 5.3 yards per pass in this game. They only had 16 first downs. They had 262 total yards, and they lost the time of possession battle and had 9 penalties. So, like, at the end of the day, if I'm the Rams, I go big or go home. I try to get Byron Jones or Xavier Howard, and if I can't get them, I move on. It's done. I can't make a trade. Maybe Amani Oruwariye. I mean, the Lions don't exactly need him. I mean, what was it today? 44-6. They're now 0-8 on the season. I mean, Jared Goff threw the ball away on 4th down. DeAndre Swift ran for 2.3 yards per carry. Just not a good day at the office. And, I would probably say the Lions could be up, in that trade conversation. Oruwariye had 4 tackles today. Yeah, I could definitely see that. The Jets are intriguing now. I don't know if they trade Marcus May. They're 2-5, and in the AFC, I mean, 2-5, you're still in it. It's not like the NFC where it's like you have 2 wins, you might be out. The AFC, you're still in it. What's up, Nolan? How you doing? Chris Garrett will get a shot. I just don't think it's this year. I think they really fell in love with Jameer Jones and what he's been able to do this early on, learning the defenses quickly. So I don't think that they have any rush to put in a rookie. Ben as returner, who would want to head on tackle him with a full head of steam? I don't really like Skoranek as a returner, I'll say that. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Hope we can stop Henry next week. Our run D is not the best. I think the run D's fine. I don't think it's a big issue, to be honest with you. Where was it? Like today, they could barely run the football today. Rex Burkhead was their leading rusher, 4 carries, 21 yards. And 14 of the 21 yards came on that one run. They averaged 3.1 yards per carry. The Rams defense held them to 44 rushing yards. Really, this year, guys, the Rams' run defense has done a nice job. I mean, if you take away the Arizona game, they haven't given up a ton of yards, So, I mean, it's worth mentioning. Well, it's funny. Everyone wants to give up on Tutu Atwell, but guess who led the NFL preseason in receptions? Tutu Atwell. He had a good preseason, guys. I think, he may not have been the best pick in the second round, but I wouldn't just throw him in the trash just yet. Ashton, while I agree with you, it wasn't really taking the starters out that bothered me. The thing that bothered me entirely was the fact they took their foot off the gas pedal in a sense that they were just running this vanilla offense, this offense that had no substance. Like, that stuff pisses me off, man. I just want, finish the game strong. Like, can't you, you hear it all the time. Sean McVay wants to play a full 60 minutes of football, all 3 phases. I just feel like they kind of just took their foot off the gas pedal at the end. It doesn't matter about who's in. You should always be playing 100%. I just felt like they really were lackluster finishing that game on offense. It just bugged me. Yeah, Ernest Jones had a day today. He was all over the place. Very good stuff out of him. Very good game. And the thing that's important about a game like that for a rookie is that that's something to build on. That is your bar. Like, Ernest Jones set the bar here. Whether or not he's below it or he goes above it, that's up to him. But he set a pretty high bar for a rookie. In his first ever, his debut, he has a a half sack. He has a tackle for a loss. He has a pass breakup. He has an interception. He leads the team in tackles. I mean, that's a pretty damn good day at the office for the rookie. So, oh, I know, Ashton. You've bet on him for a while. I like Ernest Jones. It doesn't change my evaluation. I do feel like there were better linebackers that they missed out on, but I mean, I want him to do well, and I like him. Yeah, no, and they just got out of the vehicle, like straight up left it in the parking garage. Hey, someone else steal the vehicle. Yeah, I think the Titans game is going to be. You know what I'll say about this though, and this is the funny thing. The Titans aren't your stereotypical 6-2 team. Like, I feel like the Rams are a lot better than Tennessee. Jack, thank you so much for donating. Where would you rank our offensive line? Say 3 out of 32. You say 3 out of 32. I'd probably say top 3 as well. This is one of the best offensive lines in all football. And they showed that today. And not only that, they showed the consistency even without Whitworth. The other 4 guys, and of course Joseph Noteboom, who played his tail off today, just did a really nice job of protecting Matthew Stafford. I mean, I was very impressed with it. And furthermore, Stafford was sacked 0 times, okay? So, you know, and this idea that, like, because I was seeing people getting on Wolford for taking a sack, he didn't take a sack. They took out one of the best offensive line in football. They left Noteboom there. Noteboom did his job, protecting his blind side. And the other right side of the offensive line just collapsed on Wolford. I mean, he had no time to throw. So, yeah, I think top 3 is definitely a good barometer for this team, as far as their offensive line goes. I mean, they were really good in this game. Like I said, no sacks allowed. Noteboom. And by the way, for anyone that is like considering the idea that Noteboom isn't good enough to replace Whitworth, if they bring him back, like, he's 100% going to be the starter. He is 100% good enough to replace Whitworth. He is that good. Like, Noteboom is legit. Noteboom could start. Noteboom could be a top 10 left tackle. He's athletic. He's instinctive. He's got good mechanics. He's gotten a lot better at the position. You can tell he's been developed. And the reason that he's not playing is because the Rams would rather have him learn that spot and focus on playing left tackle than giving him reps at guard when they don't like him at guard. He's not the best at guard. And quite honestly, it's just kind of a distractor from what he's doing at tackle. Because every week, we don't see it. He's not on the field, besides this game. But he's working his tail off, in practices and what have you, to learn the tackle position and get better each week. It's a setback in a sense if you push him over at guard. So, yeah, I mean, I love that Noteboom got an opportunity in this game and made the most of it. And I hope to God the Rams are going to bring him back. But we'll see. I mean, this is a business. Obviously, we've seen guys like Goff and Gurley and Cooks and Brockers, all these guys that you may love, they're gone. So, Noteboom wouldn't be the first guy that I really like that they got rid of or let go. Why people hating on Wolford, dude? Got his NASCAR swapped out for the pit stop for a Honda. Not much to yeah, exactly. I agree. No, I agree. Matthew, 100%. Noteboom would start on 75% of the league's teams, maybe even more. He's really good. I keep saying this, and, for whatever reason, I'm not going to say everybody in the fan base, but a lot of people in the fan base gravitated towards Bobby Evans, I think because Bobby Evans played at big Oklahoma. So people are used to Bobby Evans, left tackle for a premier program. But Joseph Noteboom did pretty well at TCU. He did well at the Senior Bowl, and this is somebody that he's played in big-time games. He got in during the Super Bowl. I mean, he was used. So it's just, it's frustrating because how talented this guy is, and there's still people that want to say he's not good. And I see Greg Gaines there. Julio, you mentioned him. Greg Gaines, can't stress enough. Damn good football player. He was behind Aaron Donald, A'Shawn Robinson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Michael Brockers. That is why he wasn't playing, not because he's not capable. He's a damn good football player, and he showed you that today. Constantly living in the backfield. By the way, he had one of the highest pass rushing efficiencies coming out of college. The only guy that was ahead of him was Quinnen Williams in his draft class. So keep that in mind. This guy can rush the passer. He can help you against the run. He's a damn good football player. But you know who else balled out today? A'Shawn Robinson. Robinson was a gap eater. They didn't have Sebastian Joseph Day, and they didn't have Andrew Whitworth. And I felt like this was maybe the most complete team on both sides of the offensive line. A complete game on both the offensive line and the defensive line. And that's not to say those guys aren't good. It's to say that the Rams' depth in those categories really stood out. Noteboom played his tail off. You didn't see anything wrong with the left side. And then the defensive line, you have Gaines coming in. A'Shawn had to take a bigger role in this one. They both stepped up tremendously with the absence of Sebastian Joseph Day, who, by the way, coming into this game, was leading the league in run defensive win rate. So, essentially, on run plays, no one was winning more matchups than Joseph Day. No one in the league. So that's a pretty big loss, and they did a nice job. Yeah, that was a great play. You mentioned T. Lou. Terrell Lewis had a really nice play where, Davis Mills was rolling out to his right, and it looked like he might have had a guy open, but Lewis batted it down. That's an incredibly difficult play. He started on the other side of the field, and then he's running all the way over, and he's able to bat that pass down. It shows you his athleticism. Kind of quiet two sacks in this game from Leonard Floyd, who's really having a good season and really has shown you he's just a completely different player than he was in Chicago. Chicago was all about, stopping the run. He was a run defender first. With the Rams, he's not pass rusher first or run defender first. He is a all-around talent. This is somebody that is going to help you in all areas of that position and what that position can do. That is why they paid Leonard Floyd the money. People thought he was overpaid. I said he was properly paid. If you look and you compare his age and how much he got to the other guys that got paid that much, they're all around those, like the 7 sack mark right now. They're all producing the way he is, or they're not producing as well as he is. And he's probably the best run defender of all of them. So that's what I like about Flo, is that he's just gotten better and better, with the Rams. Donald had himself a game, but I expected that. You have, McCray in there instead of Justin Britt, although I really would like to see Aaron Donald body Justin Britt for 60 minutes. That would have been funny. But, Bobby Trees does not have to go. Joseph, come on now. There will be no Robert Woods slander on this. Thought Okoronkwo played well. I gotta bring him up because, he may not be the most, he doesn't have 7 picks or whatever Trayvon Diggs has, but just because this guy isn't getting interceptions doesn't mean he isn't doing his job. And that is Jalen Ramsey, man. Some of the plays he makes out of that star position, that is incredibly a difficult play on the screen, being blocked and clearly being held and getting your arm around him and wrapping him up. That's an incredibly difficult play. And he's doing that week in and week out, just destroying screenplays. It's really incredible what Jalen Ramsey is. Because you know what he is? Jalen Ramsey is Aaron Donald at the cornerback position. I keep saying this, and it sounds ridiculous because Aaron Donald is just different, right? How much different is Aaron Donald than Jalen Ramsey, though? Because what Aaron Donald did for the interior defensive line position is transcendent. He took it to now the interior rush is unbelievable. Now teams are focusing on getting guys that can rush the interior instead of focusing on stopping the run. And what I'll say over and over again is that Aaron Donald is the best player in football But we used to look at Jalen Ramsey as an argument. Is he the best corner? You have him. You have Xavier Howard. You have Byron Jones. You have, Jair Alexander. You have Marlon Humphrey. He is by far the best corner now. And now it's time to wonder how long it takes before, with Donald getting older, how long is it before Jalen Ramsey becomes the best player in the league? Because what he's doing right now is not playing the cornerback position, folks. He's asked to play linebacker. He's asked to play edge. He's asked to play corner. He's asked to play safety. He's playing all of these positions. He's asked to do more than any defensive back in football. And he is not only making things happen in that regard, he's blowing up plays in that role because of his athleticism, his understanding of the game, his high intelligence. He's an incredibly intelligent football player, and it's showing up. And I think it's time to finally start giving him that upper echelon credit. He's not just the best defensive, he's not just the best defensive back in the league. It's a matter of how long is it before he becomes better than Aaron Donald? Because Aaron Donald is going to get older. And Jalen Ramsey's still really young. And what Ramsey's doing now is new to him. Keep this in mind. They have not used him like this ever. Okay? This is completely new. And he fits this role like a glove. So if he's playing this role right now, okay, what is going to happen moving forward? And I know someone said, Julio, you're saying Derwin James. Derwin James, to an extent, is playing that role, but not as well as Ramsey. Ramsey is just on another level. I can't stress that enough. And the thing that's so great about Ramsey moving forward, he has a career trajectory of Charles Woodson, where as soon as Ramsey starts to go down, decline a little bit, he won't play cornerback anymore. He won't play the star position. He'll just move to safety and be the best safety in football. Like, do you see how that works? Do you see why maybe that's the biggest move the Rams have made? Because Ramsey is the gift that keeps on giving. Remember when Charles Woodson was the most dominant corner in the league? And then he got older and then moved to free safety and started playing safety for, the Packers. I believe he won a Super Bowl with them. Yeah. Ramsey will just do that when he starts to lose his speed and his athleticism. So that's what it comes down to. And this is, like I said, this is not only somebody that is going to continue to get better, in this new role and continue to get more comfortable. It's not just about him. That's the thing that makes Donald so great. Because Donald will have 1.5 sacks. People look at the box score and they'll be like, well, Leonard Floyd had more sacks than Donald, so he's better. It's not how that works. Donald facilitates all these one-on-one matchups because he gets double-teamed and triple-teamed, so it opens up opportunities for his teammates. So how is that conducive to winning? Well, it's opening up opportunity for his teammates, and if he doesn't get the sack, someone else will. Creating that pressure also minimizes the amount of time you have to throw the football, So because of that, it helps all around. It helps your teammates. It helps the secondary. It's the gift that keeps on giving in the defense. But furthermore, with Ramsey's not just playing for himself. Ramsey being able to play the star, whether it's the star, he's just isolated on the outside at corner. He can take a wide receiver completely out of the game. He can play that because, he can play the star position. He can do a little bit of everything. But on top of that, it's making other corners better. It's making the life easier out of Darius Williams. We saw that last year. I think he had 4 interceptions last year, including, I believe, 2 pick sixes, maybe 1. I think Troy Hill had 2. But we're seeing that. It's easier jobs for other guys. It makes everything easier. And then all of a sudden, it takes your screen game out because now Ramsey is just going to blow it up. It hurts your running game because now Ramsey can blow up your running game. And then if you want to try to, you want to try to go to one receiver, I'll just put Ramsey on that receiver and take him completely out of the game. Ramsey is a chess piece that would help any team, obviously. And just having him would immensely help everything about your defensive line. But then when you look at what Donald does, and you combine with what Ramsey does, and say you're going up against a rookie in Davis Mills, it makes things incredibly difficult to process and make plays when you have a corner that's shutting everyone down and can play all over the field and is basically playing the Where's Waldo role. And then you have a defensive lineman that is so dominant. The way you beat him, you don't even know how, because if you throw 3 guys on him, it opens up, a one-on-one matchup with T. Lou or Obanai Okoronkwo or Flo, and it's not easy. And so that's the thing, and that these guys complement each other so well. It's why the Rams didn't really put in the reserves at the end of the game. The Rams simply told us all how they feel about this defense. This defense is entirely, geared on 2 guys. Everyone else is they're good players, but they sat Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald for a reason. They are the key cogs to this machine. They want to be a well-oiled machine, But in order to do that, they have to keep these guys healthy and they have to keep going. We saw last year with Aaron Donald getting hurt, how much it hurt the defense in the playoffs against the Packers. But when those guys are healthy, it is really hard to beat this defense. And you could say all you want, well, bend don't break isn't working. I mean, they're top 10 in scoring defense, so it is. But furthermore, I mean, this is just, they're getting more, confident, I guess is the word, but as well as, Jalen Ramsey is getting comfortable in this role that he's never had before. And just to assume, because I've seen this also, well, it's not like, the Cowboys are asking Trayvon Diggs to play that role. It's not his fault. I'm sure he could play it. No, because that's the thing. If everyone could play this role that Jalen Ramsey's playing, everyone would be playing this role. Every single team would have a star position. That's not the case. There's only a select few guys that can do it. And I can tell you right now, Derwin James, Jalen Ramsey, those are the first 2 that come to mind. I know Darius Williams was playing that. I know they think Terrell Burgess can play it. Who else? I mean, when you really think about the athleticism that you have to play that position, and then not just the athleticism, because it's not just about running a 40 time. It's not just about your short, the short area burst. It's not about tackling. It's not all about that, right? It's about everything, putting it all together. When you really look at it, there's Jalen Ramsey, there's Derwin James, and that's it. Who else has the football IQ, the athleticism? You could argue Minkah Fitzpatrick in that tier. You could argue, Jesse Bates, but I think they're different players. Jesse Bates is more, he's like your free safety over the top. You can use, he's great in coverage, solid tackler. He's not as built the way a Derwin James or Jalen Ramsey is. That's what makes that position so unique. Thank you so much for donating, Darius. Really appreciate that. What's up, Ramley and Jake? I feel like we need a legitimate returner, extra DB to fill out our roster. I wouldn't mind another returner. Blade mentioned to me the idea of getting John Brown. For those of you that are on team Rams need a deep threat, John Brown could be that. He is a free agent right now, could return kicks and punts. I wouldn't be against it. To be honest with you, though, I'd rather just take a knee and just... When you have an offense like this, I'd rather not take it out of the end zone and then risk getting a holding call. I would just rather start every single drive at the 25. I know I'm different than most people, but I don't really care about the returning. I don't. I'd rather have them knee it every single time. And as far as punt, there's only so much you can do. And I personally don't even feel like the ability to get any sort of win out of a punt return anymore. It's so slim that they don't call a penalty where it's not even worth it to me. That's the problem with the returning, is that it's almost not even worth it, because all this, all of this emphasis we put on the return game and trying to find players that'll fit this mold and try to help them out and try to find these extra yards. First off, the offense is good enough to create their own yards. Secondly, all it does, there's such a huge risk. If you think about it, it's like betting on green at the roulette table. Really, think about it. How many times does a kick or punt return get called back, and because you returned it, and because there was a penalty, it now all of a sudden backs you up half the distance to the goal, and it hurts you more than it helps you? It's literally betting on green at the black and red roulette table. Tell me I'm wrong, because it is. Kick and punt returning is betting on green. Once you take it out, you are betting on green. If it hits, you could score a touchdown. But how often do you hit on green? So that's how I look at it. That is my analogy on that. I just think, to me, returning is just pointless at this point. There are way too many flags being called. And I'll be honest with you, I just don't feel like there's enough. Like, how often do we see kick returns and punt returns go the distance without a flag, right? You could call a flag on any play, okay? Any play. And, to me, it's like, they're just going to throw like, you can dictate a game. Like, the officials could dictate a game. They could see a guy going for a touchdown and be like, well, I don't really like that team. I hate the returning. I really do. So I don't put too much of an emphasis on it because, quite honestly, it's betting on green and roulette. You're more likely to hurt yourself than you are to help yourself. When you hit on it, it's going to be great. But how often do you hit on it? And that is why I would compare it to a roulette table. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the special teams execution. I'm worried about more so the hands team, or not the hands team, the coverage team. I'm always worried about the coverage team, in my opinion, because, what it comes down to is I don't really care about returning. Just get the guy down. Just, play your game. I don't like the missed tackles. I don't like the guys flying everywhere. I don't like how much they give up with the punt returning and kick returning game. I don't like that, Matt Gay had to make a tackle on the kick return. I don't like it. And, we talk about complementary football. Sean McVay always brings that up, right? Well, here's the problem with the complementary football thing. It goes both ways. So when it's working well for you, it helps your defense. When it's not working well for you, it hurts your defense. And that's what happened today. I mean, giving up that kick return and what have you, I mean, that's what happens. So, I'm so over the returning and everything. I'm over the penalties. I just... Remind me to never have a drinking game over it. I'll be drunk by the end of the half. Just how many penalties they call. Guys, we're over 100 views. I do appreciate that. Please be sure to thumbs this up. We're over the hour mark. And like this, it's going to tell YouTube that you guys like this type of video. It's going to recommend them to other people that also like the Rams. It'll be on their front page. So would really appreciate it if you do like it. Let's get it up past our triple digits. Yeah, there we go. Keep it going. Keep it going. Oh, I know. Stafford's so good at that, man. He's above and beyond. Love Stafford. We got 56. Let's hike it up. 57. So, yeah, do you miss Jalen Ramsey's old role as a one-on-one stick with the best player type, or do you prefer the scheme that Morris has him in is just as good? Great question, actually, Armando. I prefer him in the role that I think maximizes his full, not just his potential, but maximizes, the usage of how, like, his talents, and I feel like the best, Sean McVay is always talking about putting players in the best position to succeed. The best position to succeed for Jalen Ramsey is letting him be the do-it-all guy that he is. I mean, that's what he wants to do. He wants to fly around and make plays. So I like it. I prefer it. Jameis got hurt. Oh, no. That's awful. And since what's-his-face is out, it's going to be Trevor Siemian at quarterback. That's awful, man. He gets hurt against his former team that casted him away. Man, that pisses me off. What even is karma anymore? That just sucks. It's tied 7-7. He's at home. Man, that just pisses me off. Chargers up 14-10 on the Patriots. Patriots just punted away. There's about 1:44 remaining. Chargers get the ball, and they're going to try to drive down the field and score. Seattle is up 17-0 on the Jaguars. Jaguars are just a mess, man. They are just an absolute mess. Geno Smith is destroying them. Lockett has 92 receiving yards already at the half. Oh, God, Sean Payton's play calling is just not very good this year. Don't get me started on it. Carlos, I think Darius Williams, we can expect him to come back at it looks like it might be this weekend, so we'll see. I don't really see the Rams getting anybody. I feel like they feel pretty good. I mean, I'll be curious to see if they get any sort of swap for Deshaun Jackson, but probably not. So I don't know. I do think with the Dolphins losing, it creates a very interesting dynamic where the Rams could argue, and the Dolphins could argue trading away a Byron Jones or an Xavier Howard to, bolster their draft picks this year. They're not winning anything. They're 1-7. It just doesn't look good, Now, I wouldn't fire their head coach either. I know there's people that are like, oh, because Brian Flores sucks. He doesn't suck. The defense is still good, okay? He is in a weird position. First off, they gave the 5-2 Raiders a run for their money on the road, week 3. This was a better fight against the Bills in Buffalo. The last time they were 35-0. They started the season with a 17-16 win in New England. They were in that game against Tampa, and then they just kind of ran them over. Jacksonville came down to 3 points. Falcons last week was a 30-28, meltdown. They're not a horrible 1-7 team. I've seen 1-7 teams that have no business, but moving forward, they have the Texans this upcoming week. They'll be playing the Ravens, at the Jets, Panthers, Giants, Jets, at Saints, at Titans, Patriots. Theoretically, the Dolphins at 1-7, I do think, though, could absolutely trade away somebody at the deadline. And I don't know if they'll do it, but Byron Jones, I think, would be probably the best bet for the Rams if they were going to get anybody. So that's what I would say in regards to that. Realistically speaking, it wouldn't be like a superstar like that. I think most likely you would be looking at a guy like, say, Amani Oruwariye of the Lions. That's if they were to trade him at 0-8. Yeah, I'd like a swap. I wonder if the Steelers would trade Melvin Ingram and like a pick for Deshaun. Melvin Ingram, and then the Rams trade a pick and Deshaun for Melvin Ingram. Oh, Herbert threw a pick. That's not good. Well, the biggest issue with Sean Payton for me is that he wears a visor inside. That just seems really pointless. I never understood that, to be honest with you. Oh, Cameron Jordan strip sack on Tom Brady. Saints got the ball. It's still 7-7 in the second. Has Jameis been ruled out? I know he got carted off, but stranger things have happened, I'm checking right now because I'm curious. Oh, they spelled Jameis Winston wrong on the graphic. That's funny. I only know because I spelled it wrong when I was looking it up. Awesome. So it's a severe leg injury. Damn, I hate that, man. That pisses me off. I just saw it. That's awful, man. It's such a freak thing, too. Like, his leg gets, like, caught or something, and, like, it hook. I hate that. I hate player injuries, man. I especially hate that Jameis Winston had his opportunity to beat his former team. I don't think the Bucs were fair to him. I understand they got Tom Brady, but it was before Tom Brady became available. I don't like the way they treated him. I don't like the way he was mocked. Plus, I think Bruce Arians, I mean, it's obvious. Everyone except for Tom Brady, when Bruce Arians has been their play caller in some capacity, they've all led the league in interceptions in their first year. So I think he would have been a lot better the next year. I just wasn't a fan of the way they treated him. So it just pisses me off that he's not going to get an opportunity to beat that team. Also doesn't help that I don't really like the Bucs, but Jared Goff is 0-15 without Sean McVay. Dear God. That's not good. I mean, if Henry's out next week, they're in huge trouble. Because I just don't see how they would beat the Rams without Derrick Henry. I would pick the Rams to win that game with Derrick Henry. So that would be, you'd be in some huge trouble there. I'm not even gonna lie. Isn't Taylor Lewan also hurt? Like, their offensive line isn't 100% right now. Well, Wolford looks bad because his offensive line's entirely made of backups in this game. He's playing with a backup offense entirely, and then the defense was, the first team defense for the Texans, and they're playing to win, and they didn't give Wolford any sort of time to throw, and they barely gave him a chance to throw. So I'm not worried about Wolford. He's not a problem. He's one of the better backups in the league and could probably start on a few teams. Definitely not worried about Wolford. He's fine. See, it's different with some teams. They'll put in their backup quarterback, but they'll keep some of the starters out there. Rams don't do that. They just pulled everybody, basically. Okay, so thanks, Hilltop. Appreciate the donation, my friend. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Not leaving you guys. Don't worry. No matter what happens, I'm not giving up this channel. I've already made that. I've actually turned down, funny enough, I turned down a job offer from, I'm not going to say who, but I turned down a job offer because they wanted me to get rid of or not get rid of, but they wanted control of my YouTube channel. So I was like, no. Because here's the thing, the common misconception is everyone's like, oh, you should work for the Rams, or I want you to work for the Rams, or the Rams should hire you. I'm good where I am right now. I don't really want to work. It's nothing against NFL teams. I want my own creative control. I want to be able to talk about what I want to talk about. I don't want to be stuck to a script. I don't want to have to read off a teleprompter. I like doing what I do. It's all on the spot. I don't have a script. Not for a video, not for this. Everything is all off the top of my head for the most part. Video's a little bit more structured. I have bullet points. I will never read off a script, guys. I'm not knocking people that do. It's just not my thing. It's not my thing for a video. I'm never going to do that. So, no, I'm not going anywhere. Well, I wanted to see the Titans depth chart. I'll take Wolford over Cam Newton. He can't throw anymore. Yes, please get the likes up if you can. We're at 72. I love to get it at like triple digits, before I end it. Yeah, Modern Throwback is this weekend. Okay, so there's some injuries. The offensive line, Nate Davis is questionable. Lewan is back, though. Saffold, Ben Jones, Kessenberry, they're all there. Julio Jones is out. He probably plays next weekend, I would imagine. A.J. Brown's healthy. Derrick Henry, we'll see. Ryan Tannehill, Jeff Swam, Anthony Ferkser. Tyir Tart, their nose tackle's out. We'll see if he plays next week. Rashaan Evans was out. We'll see if he plays next week. Crookshank, questionable. John Simon, the weak side linebacker, one of the weak side linebackers, he was out. Jayon Brown is on IR. Yeah, they're pretty banged up. They got a lot of IRs everywhere. Darrington Evans hit the IR. So the running backs, if Henry doesn't go, it'll be Jeremy McNichols and Dontrell Hilliard. Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. I mean, hey, you know, I'm not... Oh, does it? I'm going to do it again. That is creepy. You're absolutely right. Matthew, thank you for the donation. Was it me or was something off with Woods' drop passes? Body language looked off. I wouldn't read too much into it. I think it was just one of those, concentration drops. I mean, obviously he's got to shirt up, but he did have 2 touchdowns in this game. I'm not worried about Woods. I agree. If Henry doesn't play against for the Titans are not winning that football game. Like, they don't have a chance in hell of winning that football game because they wouldn't have much of a run game. It looks like Darrington Evans is on IR from what I can see here. If that's the case, then you have Jeremy McNichols, who's more of a scat back. I think a guy that they got out of Boise State. And then you have Dontrell Hilliard. Hilliard is also, he's 5'11", 202. So you don't really have like a big-bodied running back that would replace the running game that Henry has, that style. That would be a problem. They would be in some trouble, for sure. So, I don't think that they would not beat the Rams without Derrick Henry. I think a lot of people are feeling that way as well. It's not cockiness. I mean, I just think the Rams are a better team than the Titans. I don't really think it's that close. I just don't. Do I think Kupp breaks Calvin's record? Let's do some math. Where is my calculator? Okay, there it is. Yeah, let's do some math on this thing. Trying to... I was going to do math. Okay, Cooper Kupp. 7 catches, 115 yards. Okay, so Cooper Kupp on the season now has 924 yards. And he's got 63 receptions. So he would be on pace. Let's see here. $1.6. Cooper Kupp is on pace for 1,963 yards. And how many did Calvin finish with? Calvin didn't get to 2,000. He came close, I think. So right now, okay, so Calvin Johnson finished with 1964. So Cooper Kupp is 0.5. He's a 0.5 percentage point from tying Calvin Johnson's record pace-wise right now. Because he averages about 115.5 yards per game. That's crazy. Okay. So then he also had, 122. Well, that can't be right. What's the receptions record? So the single season receptions record is held by Thomas. Michael Thomas beat Marvin Harrison out. He had 149. Okay. So if Cooper Kupp has 63 receptions through 8 games, that means he averages about 7.8 receptions per game. Times that by 17. You have 133.8. So he's actually not on pace to break the receptions record. However, the touchdowns record right now, he has 10, I believe, right now. Yeah, he has 10. So then 10 divided by 7 gives you 1.42. Times that by 17. He's on pace for 24.2 touchdowns on the season. So that would not be the record. Oh, no, that would be the record, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that would break the record. So he is on pace to tie or just miss tying Calvin Johnson's receiving yards record in a single season. He is on pace to break Randy Moss's 23 touchdown single season record that was recorded in the 2007 season with the New England Patriots. And he is on pace to fall about 12, 13 receptions short of Michael Thomas's receptions in a season record, which 149. So that tells me that that's just what we've seen through 8 games, okay? Because Cooper Kupp is still having these games, you know? That's the thing. The consistency is incredible. If you look at his game log, this is what Cooper Kupp has done this season. First off, let me just point out and say his worst game was against Arizona. He had 64 yards. That's his worst game. I think most players would kill for that, to have 64 yards in your worst game of the season. So Cooper Kupp, first game, 7 catches, 115 and a touchdown. The second game, 10 catches, that was this. All right, so first game of the season is against Chicago, and he had 7 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. Second game, 9 catches for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Against Tampa, week 3, 9 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Against Arizona, 5 catches, 64 yards. Against Seattle, 7 catches, 92 yards. At the Giants, 9 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Versus Detroit last week, 10 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then this week against Houston, 7 catches, 115 yards. He has only missed a 100-yard game in 3 games, and they were in a row. Tampa with 96 yards, Arizona 64, and Seattle with 92. And he only has 2 games in which he hasn't had a touchdown, and only 4 games in which he hasn't had at least 2 touchdowns. He's had at least 2 touchdowns in 4 games this year. So he is having an incredible season. He's got, that's not. Oh, okay, they have the 56 in there. So, yeah, he's unreal. He really is. So he's having an outstanding season. But, with that being said, I think there's some other guys we got to talk about. We got to talk about the fact that Darrell Henderson has 7 touchdowns on the season. Total touchdowns, okay? He's having a good year. He averaged 6.4 yards per carry this game. If you look, he is 12th right now in rushing yards. So let's add in his totals today. So he has 507 rushing yards on the season. And we'll do that divided by 17. So that's about, that doesn't make any sense. Hold on a sec. Okay, so we got 417 and then 90. So far on the season, he's got 507 rushing yards. And he's got 141 receiving yards, and he's got 7 total touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job, and he hasn't had a tremendously huge role. I mean, look, you know, the recent games he's had, or rather the game log here, you go back, Chicago, he had 16 carries. Indy, he had 13. Arizona, he had 14. Seattle, 17. Giants, 21. Detroit, 15. Houston, 14. And, you know, he's averaging about 4.3 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns, you know. Actually, it's not 4.3 because I got to factor in, you know, the yards. But, you know, he's he's looking good. And then who else do we have here for receiving? I wish they would just calculate the receive. Like, I wish they'd calculate all the yards, like, right off the bat. I always have to go and do it myself. Because I can't wait. It's annoying. Okay. Brady threw an interception. Let's see. All right, stats. Matthew Stafford has 22 passing touchdowns on the season. And he's thrown for looks like 2,476 yards. Very good year for him so far. Only 4 interceptions. You know, Sony Michel, low-key, isn't having a horrible season either. He's got 209 yards. He's got 251 yards on the season. And then, let's see here. So Robert Woods, he's got, let's see, 30, so 458 on the year. So 458 divided by 8, and then times that by 17. Woods is on pace for a 973-yard season. So I don't really understand the whole let's trade Woods, you know, narrative. What about Van Jefferson? Let's check out what he did. Okay, so 88 yards. So we're looking at 392 on the year. So 392 divided by 8 times 17. Don't look now, but Van Jefferson is on pace for 833 yards in his second season. And probably only going to go up moving forward. Ooh, we like that. The Saints are up. Let's go. Oh, weird. Page not found. By the way, I just realized I never calculated Darrell Henderson's stats for the rest of the year. So that was stupid of me. My bad. So 417 plus 90 divided by 8. I mean, I could learn how to do it. That would be great. All right, so 417, 90, 507 on the season, divided by 8 times 17. Darrell Henderson's on pace for 1,077 rushing yards on the season. So you have a guy that's on pace for 1,000 rushing yards. Woods is on pace for almost 1,000. Kupp's on pace for almost 2,000. Van Jefferson's on pace for almost 800. I mean, what's Stafford on pace for right now? Let's check. Okay, so Stafford 2712 plus 305. So Matthew Stafford right now is on pace for 5,263 passing yards. And then 46 touchdowns. And 8.5 interceptions. Yeah, he's on pace for 9,000 yards. It's funny. No, why did they miss the extra point? I hate that. That'll come back to bite them. They'll lose now by a point. Oh, Trevor Siemian threw a touchdown. Who? Alex Arma. Wow, the fullback. Okay. I thought Ernest Jones looked really good. I mean, he had a game that you want to see out of a rookie linebacker in his debut. I mean, 100%. Man, Jarrett Patterson is out carrying Antonio Gibson. What is going on in Washington? Melvin Gordon has a touchdown. Broncos up 10-3. Seattle's now up 23-0. Dear Lord. Touchdown to Metcalf. Yeah, Seattle, they needed this. Dear Lord. 11 catches, 133 yards by Lockett. Yeah, that's they needed that. I think Gibson's been hurt the whole year, guys. I'm going to be real with you. I 100% think he's been hurt the whole year. They haven't really reported on it as much, but I do think that has been the case. How'd the Patriots get 13? Did they kick? Oh, 2 field goals. Gotcha. Oh, the Patriots are driving. First down for N'Keal Harry. That's a name. Damian Harris is just a model of consistency for New England. Mac Jones isn't having his best game against Brandon Staley's really complicated defense. But Justin Herbert isn't having a great time against the Belichick's defense. So there's Damian Harris again for some yards. Oh no, Asante Samuel got hurt? That's not good. Yeah, I honestly like both of these teams. You know, I like what New England's done this year. I like Mac Jones. I like Damian Harris. But I like the Chargers too. I root for Brandon Staley. I like Herbert a lot. I like Derwin James. I like Keenan Allen. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really decide. I don't care who wins this game. I like them both. Seattle versus Jacksonville. I mean, Seattle's going to destroy them. So, I mean, that's done. Oh, touchdown nullified due to a Justin Heron offensive hold. Gotta love offensive holding. 28-yard touchdown by Harris is now off the... That sucks. I definitely want New Orleans to beat Tampa. I don't really have a dog in the fight with Washington, Denver. I guess I'd pull for Denver. Yeah. All right, well, I hope you guys are having a great Halloween. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Please, before you head out of here, hit me with the thumbs up. Want to get to triple digits. We're at 82 likes. I would love to get it to over 100 before I end this stream. So if you guys could do that, that would be great. Let's see if we can, 83. Let's keep it going. $87, 13 more. For everyone that donated, really do appreciate it. Like I said, this is part of like my full-time job. I have another job prospect, around the corner that I'll give you more details on it when it, they come to me. But that's something to keep in mind. So have that going. We started if you guys like gaming, I started an Arkham Knight playthrough the other night. I'll be playing that. I'll be playing Resident Evil with the new Resident Evil movie coming out this month. And then we have the Devil's Eyes podcast, not this week, but next week, the horror podcast on Wednesday. Don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. Might do a poll on that. Going to have the Rams and Titans preview this week. Have a Downtown Rams podcast recapping this win. And then pretty much, maybe do the Bogan 10. Even though the views really dropped on that, so I was like not really into it this week. Like it really dropped. Yeah, here we go. Sparkling ice, best in the biz. Gotta love it. Ooh, Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne fumbled. Derwin James. There's our guy, Derwin James. What we were just saying. Just forced that fumble. Huge, huge play for the Chargers. Momentum booster and killer for the Patriots. I mean, that was down in, deep territory there. So, but yeah, guys, really do appreciate you guys donating. Appreciate you guys hanging around with me. You guys do me a favor. Watch a horror movie. It is Halloween. Don't focus on Hocus Pocus or any of that crap. Watch a horror movie. Watch a slasher. If you've never done it before, watch Halloween 1978. Watch Texas Chainsaw 1974. Watch a horror movie, man. I can't stress it enough. Maybe Hellraiser. Maybe It. Just do yourself a favor and watch a friggin' horror movie. That's all I can say, signing off. For Michael Myers and I, you guys have a happy Halloween. I might see you guys tomorrow. Might do another live stream. We got some stuff to talk about. Trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday. Potentially going to be talking about some stuff there. So, yeah. That's it. Love y'all. Be safe. Happy Halloween. Later.